Okay, here we are on the 7th day of February 2012, Precision Racing League. Just the start of the India Grand Prix. Qualifying 8th spot here, again doing an installation lap. I think we had a problem with some of the members losing connection, so we did not get a standing start. Going around the lap 1 here, we'll be starting at the last turn, last left-hander onto the straight for the opening lap, which will be lap 2. Looks like had a problem with qualifying myself. Car blew up after the second lap. Could not out-qualify Phil or Scully. Of course, I'm in a race with Scully overall, so that's pretty much my race and concern here for this race. At this point, I'm on the microphone, I think telling Phil to keep it tight. And of course, you are watching Afterburn 2.2, and of course, re-rendering. Now here, Phil goes totally wide here. And you can see in the lower left-hand corner there, Scully gets a big jump right there. And I thought about diving down here, but I thought, well, keep it together. Some points are better than no points. So here at the opening laps, 30 laps to go. 29 laps, actually. I guess 30. And decide to keep it clean right here. Had a problem with that corner all night. Really forgetting to count my shifts. Getting caught up in the moment. The second gear corner there, shifting down to first. Of course, that corner will end up being key to my position overall this evening. A little frustrated here as I do the video. I guess all I can do is keep everything together. Did have a couple gifts here during the race, which I couldn't capitalize on due to a rookie mistake. A couple times I get a run on Phil, and I really makes me wonder. You know, that question a couple of weeks ago was, are you aggressive or conservative? And I think I was a little too conservative here. There's a gap opening up right there. Scully's getting away. Because I hate to force the issue, and then all of a sudden, cause myself even more points. I think there's a 4-point separation. Could have closed him right here, but I decided to not do that. Yeah, I finally get around him here, as I thought I did. But again, the overtaking car must pass cleanly, so don't want to be hacking anybody. And look at Scully just getting away from me there. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's an opportunity right here. So I finally get him. And I think he gets me at the end of the straightaway already. And I should have blocked him, but I thought, well, just, you know, maybe I get him. And he throws it right down there. Can't recall if I get him or not in this corner, but you can see the arrows right here signifying where the car is from the cockpit view. Okay, so eventually I just end up pulling away here, checking out here. This my Scully's right up here, though. I'm losing seconds right now. This is key, this little gap right here, because I lose contact with him, right? And that'll come into play at the end of the race here, as you'll see. Yeah, I'm having a rough time there. Again, starting out on options, only had 2 laps in. I think qualified 8th. I think Eric, Disco Potato, had some problems too. I think Joel had some problems as well. Okay, let's see if we can see the gap here. I'm not sure why Pink Tank, but the gap there of 3.7 seconds. Okay, Corey Cedro's having a hard time out there. So the point is, as we start this race and watch the beginning of the race here, I'm sitting about 81 points overall to Scully tallies 78 points. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11. It's only 3 points separating. At this point, I have to turn it up. Missed a shift because of that. Still got to get that smooth. Of course, we do have the sound in the background. scheduled pit stop, I believe, is at 7. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, I need to change that because I have to close this gap. And of course, I think we always have a strategy in mind, but of course, depending on where maybe we are on the track, of course, usually being mid-pack, I'm usually kind of making up as I go. There's Joel, fast lap 124.068. You can see how quickly I open a gap on Phil. Yeah, that was key. This is key right here. Interesting, when you do the race and you go back and do the review, how you look at these small little mistakes every lap. Okay, it looks like we're back here. A little bit of memory problem here, so hopefully they caught it. Just as I was saying, it's interesting when you go back and review the race. Just after the race, you realize these little mistakes, like getting behind a slower car or having some type of driver error or mental breakdown. How it really affects the overall position. Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, boy, Scully's doing pretty good if he's in beating Pink Tank at this point. But long race here, 5 laps out of lap 30, rather 5 lap 5 out of 30. I think we're scheduled to do a 7 lap pit stop here, or as I decide, I think, to stay out. I need to try to make up some time. Got a little problem there, shifting a little too slow. I think needed maybe a little more rapid shifting. Okay, so realize I'm up 2 laps here, so I have to go to Rich. I think I turn it up somewhere along here. Yeah, I think next time I'm not going to fool around with a slower car. I'm just going to throw myself over the curbs to get it, because I can't be. It's going to be a close race, I think, between myself and Scully for 2 more races to go. So we're going to have to beat him outright the next 2 races. I can't have the back markers holding me up. But you never know. I mean, everybody's, I think, between myself and Scully and Phil and a few of the other folks, we're all pretty close there. It could be anybody in any given weekend. Or Tuesday evening, I should say. Yeah, just, again, disappointed, too, that we couldn't get a standing start. Just very frustrating, because I always feel I can do a little better on the starts. But geez, we haven't had a standing start in the last, I don't know, handful of races. So, and when you're doing a rolling start, you're always subject to the guy in front of you not keeping the gap, the gap closed, and he opens a gap. So it's kind of a disadvantage there. Yeah, and if the mid of the pack is all within a second apart or less than a second apart, then you start opening up a 2 or 3 second gap at the start. That makes a difference. So really want the league to tighten up their starts. It's just common courtesy to make sure everybody's compacto mundo, and to keep those starts tight. Although I think I made a pretty huge driving error, so it might not have made a difference. But okay, there it's asking me the pits. I think I'm getting on my teammate. I realize at this point Scully's probably in the pits, which he is right there. As you can see, he slaps down there. So at this point, I got to put the pedal to the metal. See if I can get some flying laps here. See a problem right there. That's a second gear corner, not a first gear corner. So it cost myself a couple seconds right there, I'm sure. But I think my whole race was kind of doomed from the start because I didn't get to finish qualifying, and that might have made a difference. I think when you look at the end of the result, I think myself and Scully are closer, within a tenth or so. So that would have been. I mean, you don't know if you would have done that in qualifying, but I'm sure it would have been better than where I started. Because as we do the debriefing here, it's always subject to interpretation. But
you need to pit in this lap.
okay, Disco destroys his car. I think he actually ran into the pit.
The safety car has been deployed. Safety car deployed.
Okay, so at this point I realized by staying out a lap, I got a lucky break here to come into the pits now, so I don't have to pin under green. Anytime you can pin under yellow, is an advantage. One is because you're able to get grouped up now on the restart. I think Disco is pretty locked into the overall on his placing. I'm not sure exactly where that is as we speak here. Because it always hurts anytime you can't finish a race. Pick up no points, but not sure exactly why he hit what he hit, but maybe we'll follow that up on the forum. Okay, so at this point I'm coming out 7th. Scully is 6th, so I'm sitting pretty good here, and I'm thinking, okay, that was a gift right here. Something that happened on the restart, I'm thinking I can make up for here. Again, you know, trying to beat Scully outright due to the points, but even if I finish a point behind him, which I think is still, can make a turn there, is even better. I think it goes, I'm not sure what the places are, but if I can finish, you know, certainly ahead of him is better than if I could finish behind him one spot, if not 2 spots, but without giving the results away here, we'll watch and see what happens.
Fuel mode to mix 1.
Okay, so it's asking me to go to mix 1, so we mix it up. I think I made a mistake too on that second pit stop. Again, doing 2 pit stops here. Pit stop number 2 is coming up at this point, lap 9. Again, we figure we can do anywhere between usually 10 to 12 laps.
This works out great for me too because I crashed in the first lap, so I was completely way behind everyone. Now I'm caught right back up, and I got new tires.
Yeah, so Corey's saying that he thinks he has a break, although...
Oh wait, I think I got caught behind Paint Tank here.
Yeah, so he's actually almost going a lap down.
I can easily get lapped now. Son of a gun.
Yeah, so he's a little disfortunate. Yeah, you got to stay in that lead lap. There's no way to get around that. You know, once you I mean, anytime you stop the car's motion on the track under green, you're just never going to finish what you want. So, but that's why we show up every weekend, and I mean every Tuesday, and race it. I always think of the race weekends. Okay, now of course I'm thinking what. First I'm thinking, okay, I'm behind Scully. Phil's behind me, so I'm thinking, okay, I have to hold off Phil, but I have to finish close enough. Stay with Scully.
Hit the pit barrier.
Okay, so there's Eric giving the comments about the pit barrier, and a big sigh of frustration.
No front wing.
Okay, let's see if we can speed this up just a little bit here.
Eric, can you at least leave your computer on until we finish the race?
Of course, Eric being the host here.
Spectating.
Alright,
I walk
cool.
away for a bit, but I'll leave it on.
Josh, are you recording?
Yep.
Alright, cool. We had a good little fight. I got that on camera, that's cool.
That was intense, man.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, at that point I'm thinking to myself, if he's, if Scully is racing with JD, that, you know, maybe he's quite a bit faster. Although I have no idea what I could have qualified. I think he qualified 5th, 6th, and I qualified 8th. I think. I don't think I got a video of that,
guys,
but
the game just black flagged me for an illegal overtake for some reason.
What the hell?
I didn't though. It was miles ahead.
I got that too once.
okay. So almost 15 seconds to go here. I think I'll do is I'll stop the tape right here, and we'll pick it up.
The safety car is coming in this lap. In this lap.
Okay, so we'll stop the tape right here.